good questions. So you can feel free to jump in and just respond to the questions. Then we can wind up.
I think I can start off as I make my final remarks. To start off with Joy, because I believe her question was not answered, we have had these problems, what she described as the speed in which we get ourselves into various deals that are disadvantageous to the country. When the history of this country is written, you are actually going to realize that people working in the cabinet and in the Attorney General's office have seriously compromised the interests of this country, because over and over again, they keep signing agreements and treaties that we get extremely raw deal from SGR, from the minerals, titanium, from all these issues to do with our oil, so that over and over, we don't seem to benefit. When the president went to the US the other day, there was talk that the Americans may be given a concession to build an Air Force base in Lamu. Other countries like Egypt, other countries like Kuwait and Djibouti that have gone into similar arrangements, they earn enormous amounts of money from these kind of military arrangements. When people, for example, you take your soldiers to Haiti to go and do something for the Americans, because we have got no interest in Haiti as the Republic of Kenya, you would have expected that you not just be paid 100 million US dollars or 200, but we have gotten into a situation where our leaders behave like the former chiefs in during the slave trade. They sell the Kenyan blood, the Kenyan territory on the cheap. This is a big shame, and it is why we shall continue being cheap and not getting serious concessions when we get into these kind of arrangements. Number two, while on that point, you have seen the Americans are championing the interest of Starlink and saying that the Kenyan government cannot be able to stop them from operating. While on the contrary, at the same time, William Ruto is promoting the interests of Adani, so that the question that happens, who is then the custodians of Kenya's economic interest if the president promotes the interest of foreigners? This is a very serious issue, more than any other, because it amounts to surrender of sovereignty. And it is also, and if the Attorney General has no courage to tell the president anything else, he at least should tell him something, that he took an oath to defend the sovereignty and interest of the Kenyan people. He did not take an oath to surrender our sovereignty. This thing of going to Americans and he's told Biden, I can give you this because I am Ruto. Nobody has a right to sell Kenya to anybody. And if he has not been told, I think this is something that is going to be very serious in the future, because you cannot just go around, sell Kenyan for free and say probably you'll get political backing to rig elections, and then people forget everything. I think it's a horrible shame, and this should be called out. For me, it is a shame more than even the legal issue that makes me to feel extremely embarrassed and extremely annoyed as a patriotic citizen of Kenya. Thank you very much for organizing this forum.
Thank you very much for participating, and we look forward to it. Ekuru, you want to add on?
Yeah, so I will say this to Nyati. My understanding is that once you sign a contract, it comes into force immediately. So looking into the circumstances around this contract, as dodgy as they are, I know for a fact that as soon as they take over JKIA, those charges will start immediately. Because remember, we are dealing with a rogue businessman, and also we are dealing with a rogue regime. So I do believe that once they pen off this contract, the charges will be effected almost immediately. So it is actually what we call the enforcement of contract. So you sign, it starts kicking off. So yes, it's a robbery. But secondly, I think was it Nyati who asked the question about Article 3, Section 3, invoking Article 227. You can be sure that yes, public participation becomes an issue here when you invoke Article 227. So I do believe, yes, there has to be public participation in the acquisition of this JKIA, and I think that's one of the issues I believe is being canvassed in the court. Now, to Joy, and just in addition to what Kibe, my senior, has said, problem for me is not even the law. Yes, we may have some twisted law, especially because we are dealing with a parliament that is now an appendage of the executive. They pass laws that are actually meant to be deal-making laws, not necessarily laws with a common good to the society of Kenya. So the problem is not law. If they followed the law, of course, at least even on a balance of probability, they have to demonstrate some process was followed. In this particular case, it was not. This is a deal. I don't even think in law we can call this a contract. This is a deal making. But my last point, Tony, and everybody else before I also pen off, is that if you follow the events of Kenya Ports Authority, when there was an attempt to acquire Kenya Ports Authority, you heard about the Chinese wanting to take up Kenya Ports Authority because we were threatened that we were not able to pay the SGR. Then there was the expressway. Now it's JKIA. All these common goods, these properties of the people of Kenya are being used as collaterals and political, deal making behind doors. So I would say that, again, I go back to my starting point, that this is a question of governance, a question of dealing with a regime that does not respect the rule of law, will not even follow the rule of law, won't follow it at all. So I think it's now up to the people of Kenya, but I'm really hoping that this regime, we should treat it as an eye-opener. I hope that the people of Kenya can now see that there's a political opportunity in the misgovernance of Kenya by William Ruto, so that it can transition us to the next generation of leaders. And I want to urge all of you not to be fence sitters, participate in politics. And as Plato once said, one of the consequences of refusing to participate in politics is that you'll be governed by your inferiors. And that's why we are here talking about the inferiority of these individuals at 22, 26 hours. Thank you very much. And thanks for organizing the space. And thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Ekuru.
May I ask a question before we proceed, Tony? I actually do have a question. I'll say in my own personal case, I really want to run for office in Kenya. That was my dream growing up. But because I have dual citizenship, and I read the Constitution, are there any exceptions that can be made, or do I have to denounce any citizenships that I have acquired other places for me to be able to even run for a seat like an MP?
Is that to me or to Skibe?
Either one of you.
Okay, so there are certain offices that you may not run as a dual citizen. For example, Office of the President, I think Deputy President. There are members of Parliament who are actually dual citizen, and I think the courts of law has excused them. I think I remember some examples in Wajir. But as you know, of course, dual citizenship is now allowed under our constitution. But I think there are some sensitive officers, like for example, to be Director General of NIS. Obviously, you can't get that position if you are you've got dual citizenship. And I think I can't remember the list, but there's a list of some sensitive, or maybe become, for example, the member of the Kenya Defense Forces or Chief of Staff in the Kenya Army. Those positions you may not get as a dual citizen. But we have had commissioners in the various national constitutional commissions from other countries. So yeah, including even I think people have applied to be IEBC commissioners in the IEBC as foreign nationals. So some of those that do not have any sensitive information that may threaten the security of Kenya, I think you may run. But I think as a member of Parliament, I believe you can run. But Tony maybe can add. Tony has been in the political space for some time. I'm sure he has an opinion. But
he's the next speaker, actually, as we wind up.
No, Ekuru, it's a pleasure to hear from you, my brother. I just wanted to thank everybody, one and all, including Bwana Kibe, who I reached out to earlier today for enriching this space. Mweru, I hope you will agree with Anthony to be co-host in this forum. I just wanted to tell everybody, including Nyati, that we want to be here every Wednesday. We call it Point Blank. And we don't really want numbers. We are not interested to be the biggest space. We want to be a space that works. This is a place where the thinkers can meet and exchange things that can help their country. There was somebody who said there about exchanging information so that we can be able to network. Please DM me. I'll be happy to open for you a network wide and deep, so that you can be able to be fully participant in your country wherever you may be working from. I and Kibe have been in this for very long. And earlier when we were speaking today, we know it's our duty to pave the way for other generations. We cannot walk away from the platform before we hand the baton. And therefore, as long as we can, this forum is something that I want to welcome all of you to come and join, and always be participants so that we can enrich each other and save our motherland. I believe finally that this petition of Adani with Kuru and Kibe joining Degwa and Jiru, I believe this thing will work, and I think we can actually succeed in having a constitutional reference that can not only stop the Adani deal, but set precedent on how to handle public matters in the future. With those very many words, Tony, you've really hosted this space very well. Mweru, thank you for jumping in. I know it's very late at night. We don't want to hold people too long so that they can come back again. But this is Tony Gashok. I'm very grateful for all of you for coming. My DM is always open so we can share.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you, everyone. As I wind up, I want to just echo what Tony has said, that we are always here every Wednesday on Point Blank. And the real purpose of this space is to make Kenya work for all of us. With those many and few remarks, I want to say good night. We meet again on Wednesday. And in case you have a topic you'd want us to handle, kindly also DM me. My DM is always open for all your questions and any requests you might have. Thank you.
Mweru, you didn't answer about co-hosting on Wednesday. So I hope you will answer.
I am very open to it. I'm very open to it. I believe that this is an opportunity where we'll not only provide a lot of education, but I like the fact that it's geared towards actions. I've seen the petitions that have been filed. Ekuru Court, honestly, there's one, the Punguza Mizigo bill is something I'm very passionate about. I went as far as calculating how much money we're wasting in overrepresentation and things like that. And I really have a lot of faith. Nyati, the task force, I'm a part of that task force also. So I think this is we have a lot of it's a very noble space, and as we just keep up the good work, we have to fight for our country. We're very rich. We're rich in culture, resources. We're rich. So every time, I mean, I live in the United States. I've been to these reserves where they've held the, the native tribes, the Native Indian Americans. They're all held up in reservations, and I don't want to see the same thing happen in Kenya, and we will not allow it. This is not the time. So I am very appreciative of the fact that we're not only taking up all these issues that are happening, and progressively, I think we'll get the change that we want.
Thank you, Mweru, for those wonderful remarks. Thank you to everyone in Kenya and everyone in the diaspora. Let's meet again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. till 10. Good night as I sign off.
Anyway, Lynn, alafu Jeffy.
Asante sana. I hope
Okay.
I hope mko salama. Kwanza nataka kuanzia na kuuliza swali. Watu wenye mnauliza, why is the government not saying anything? And my question is, what do you want the government to say? What should the government say? Like, if you are the government, would you say anything? But of course, yes, the government have something to say. The thing that the government can tell us is that the kids were banned beyond recognition, and we need more time to perform some research and whatever they call them, so that we know who is who and where is where and what is what. Lakini guys, I want us to understand one thing. Kuna kitu nimeweka kwa Jumbotron, mtu akiconfess aliona everything that was happening. And I want us to reason together. Kama mlango ya kutoka ilikuwa imefungwa na nje, watoto 70 walipotelelea wapi? You know? I also want to understand. Kama milango zilikuwa zimefungwa na nje, is that a school of magic? That watoto walisema harakadabra huwa wakatoka, wakafungua poto, wakatoroka cause mlango imefungwa na nje na watoto 70 wamedisappear. So whatever that person explains there, it is very clear. Watoto wetu walitolewa, alafu wao wenyewe, either the matron or patron ama watchman, wakawasha moto ili to cover up the story. And the government cannot say anything. Kwa sababu saa hizi watoto wetu wako Uganda. Wamewekwa pahali kama kondoo za kutolewa sacrifice, ili Ruto asitoke kwa kiti yake. Another thing we need to note. Wakati hii shule ilichomeka, hakukuwa na firefighters. Hazingepatikana. Why zipatikane alafu wachome evidence? Lazima ingepatikana. So, their plan was, kwa sababu lazima watu watakuwa questionable, lazima the state ijipresent hapo na ijifanye inalia na watu. And this is why Gachagua alikuja hapo kujifanya anaombea watu, akiwalilia, where else deep down alikuwa anajua what was happening. Kwa sababu everything that is happening, we don't need a third eye to see that Ruto is in it. We really don't need. Kwa sababu tell me how our government have PhD, lakini hawana akili ya kufikiria shule imechomeka inafaa kuwa under construction, under renovation, lakini haifai kukua ikiwa na wanafunzi. If the government is not involved, kwa nini huyu mtu wa seasonal man, Mr. Isaac, kwa nini hata nimemuita Mr. kwa nini? Kwa nini Isaac, huyu man wa seasonal, kwa nini anasema watoto 20 wamepatikana lakini haizi wa produce? Tuna understand. Kwa nini after Gachagua amekuja ameombea wase hiyo place watu waezi ingia hadi wazazi? Kwa nini huyo mkale meno zake zimetoka nje hadi anashindwa tu kureason, anasema watu hii warudishwe kwa shule, shule imechomeka? Every person that is saying a word to deny people from accessing that school ako kwa government. Kwa sababu this is the plan of government, we don't need evidence to see, we can clearly see it. The moment watoto wetu walichomeka, wakati tulipoteza Gen Z, the massacre of Githurai, watu wenye waliekwa Kware, nani aliona bendera imewekwa nusu? Nani alisikia public holiday tuomboleze? Hatukuwaomboleza. Na hata time tulikuwa tunaenda kuwaomboleza, tulikuwa tu tunakunywa tear gas na we were getting harassed. Now tell me why in the name of God watoto wamepotea hata hawajapatikana, lakini Ruto, the Lucifer, anasema bendera iwekwe nusu. Na ikaekwa. Sisi tukidhani watu wenye they are not spiritual awoken wanafikiria, oh, the government inaomboleza na sisi. And this is why watu wenye ni wazee na wamefungwa macho na kanisa wanajua tu Mungu anaweza wapigania, they should stay there, like watu hawajiwezi na they won't get justice, wanafikiria Ruto ako na wao. But literally alikuwa anaona madhabehu zake za shetani, like cause kwa nini tuanuliwe stima? You know, kuna vitu Kenya hatuhitaji kuambiwa again and again. Stima zikaanuliwa. Ambulance JKIA. Watoto chomeka. Stima, watoto, ambulance. Aji na stima zimeanuliwa. Every time stima zikianuliwa lazima kitu happen. Another thing I want you guys to know, that we no longer have a country. We are living somewhere in the village of magic. It's like we are in the legend of the seeker, Naruto ndio Daken Rao. You don't need to be told. Like kwa nini venye tumeenda demonstrations zote, the main target ya hawa askari ilikuwa male kids. If you're a male ndo tulizika wengi. Even if you look at the list ya watu wenye walikufa, wanaume ndio wengi. Na saizi hii shule ni mixed school, lakini watu wenye walichomekewa ni vijana na wao tu ndo walidisappear. It is a high time tuingie hiyo state house and we clear everything. Actually, everything in that state house should be turned into ash. Huyu mzee amefika place ametudharau, ametukosea heshima. Kwa sababu na kuna mtu anasema ati justice. It's not time tuseme ati justice. Kenya hatuna justice. Tungekuwa na justice ama government ama vitu zenye zina function, sahii hatungekuwa na maandamano ya ndani. JKA tungeulizwa kwanza kama tunamtaka ama hatumtaki. Lakini lazima wangefanya cause hatuna justice Kenya. Tungekuwa na sheria Kenya, IG hangeitwa mara 7 na disrespect koti. Kwa sababu they take orders from. Na I want us to remember kuna kitu Ruto alisema. Venye aliingia kwa kiti, alisema wakati aliingia kwa kiti alihakikisha kila askari akona freedom. They don't have to report. So saa hizi, guys, it's high time huyu mzee aende. Aende tu. Kwa sababu tukinyamazia hii story, it is either tumekubali watoto wetu wabadilishwe wakuwe kondoo za kukatakatangwa wakitolewa madhehebu za shetani, or else tukatae yeye ashuke. We got no choice. It's high time we call war. Kama we ni mzazi, unapeleka mtoto wako shule, anaenda kuna mtu, na actually venye tunaenda kesho, huyo mwenye hiyo shule inafaa kufungwa. Inafaa kufungwa. Like tell me why shule inachomeka na mniruhusu nione mtoto. Kama mzazi haoni mtoto. Tell me why shule imechomeka lakini kuna askari kwa gate analinda. Analinda nini? Analinda evidence. Watu wasingie huko waone hata labda hakukuchomeka sana, ni vitu wataki tuone. Like we are no longer free. Tukidhani ati ni mambo za sijui nini, tutatoka sasa kwa kusacrificewa watoto, mtakuwa mnasikia mtu tu disappear and they will call it the rapture or something, na hivyo ndo human trafficking zitaanza. Watu watakuwa wanauliwa Kenya as if we are dogs. Actually worse than dogs. It's high time. The issue that is on the table right now is beyond finance bill. It's high time tushikane. Hiyo shule kwanza inafaa ifungwe. Na mwenyewe anafaa kuwa pahali apumui kabisa. He should not breathe. Kwa sababu as the owner of the school anajua everything. Na lazima alitengewa kitu mzito ndo akubali watoto watolewe kwa shule. Lazima alitengewa kitu yake. It's high time we fight. Kama uko na mtoto ama hauna, it's high time we fight. Maybe leo ni watu wa Nyeri, kesho ni watu wa Tao. Juzi ilikuwa Githurai. Siku ingine sijui kulikuwa wapi. Haujui next ni wapi. If we don't stop Ruto, he's not going to stop. He will kill us. Na tutakuwa tunamuona tunainama. So it's high time tusimame and we say we have nothing to lose. It's high time we make peace with death because we've got no choice. It's either aende ama tuende na yeye. There is no choice. Ama kama wazazi mtakubali watoto wenu wakuwe kondoo za kutolewa madhabahu za shetani, okay, sisi wenye hatuna watoto tuta just stay aside to watch. But kama wazazi mko na hiyo uchungu ya watoto wenu, then sisi wenye hatuna hata hatutazaa. Tutangoja kwanza we defend your kids and then we decide if you're going to bring our kids on this earth. Because it's not safe. It's not even safe for marriage. You're getting married, uzalie mtu kondoo akatoe ndo abaki kwa kiti. It's not safe. As I wind up, hebu tujiulize, kwa nini Jezebel hajaitana mkutano? Reason I call her Jezebel is because her husband is Ahab. Kwa nini hajaitana mkutano za maombi? Kwa nini saizi Kenya inahitaji maombi, hatujasikia seminar na get together State House? Kwa nini hatujasikia akiita ule mzee, sijui alikuwa anaitwa Billy ama whatever, huyu wa US, sijui ni wa wapi? Kwa nini hajaitana maombi? Hypocrites. Wanakuja wanadanganya nyinyi wazazi, mnaombewa, where else? Mnatengewa mauongo za kufunikwa macho na imani yenye hata haieleweki mkichinjiwa watoto. It's high time we open our 2 eyes if it's very hard to open your 3rd eye. Asanteni.
Asante sana Lynn. Kuna tu kitu moja umesema hapo yenye nilitaka correct when you said huyo mkale amefungua sijui meno. I believe you are referring to Belio Kipsang, but I didn't want you to use the term mkale. Sema to that PS there is because I think
I
that
don't
was
know his
stereotype.
name. I don't know his name.
Naitwa Belio Kipsang. The PS education. I'll go to you Jeffy, then after Jeffy nitaangalia statistics hapa, nimeona DCI wamepost and it's very funny. Jeffy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, KOT,
and all of your co-hosts and everyone who is involved, participating, whether on the speaker's panel or listening, to get to know what's going on. Someone has asked a really good question here. Wakenya shida yenu ni nini? Wakenya shida yetu ni nini? How is it that tragedies, one after the other, following, have no explanation from the government? They keep happening and we keep still and we forget. No one is talking about Shakahola right now. It's buried, forgotten, it's a past. Only for some stupid fuck of some legal procedure that is being followed. What happened in Githurai? Forgotten. People are moving on. What happened at Quarry? Forgotten. People are moving on. What happened in Parliament? Forgotten. People are moving on. In the stupid fucking Mandamanos Azimio, what happened? 50 killed. Forgotten. People are moving on. 70 kids cannot be accounted for. Sooner or later, Kenyans will forget and they move on. And my question is, how much enough is enough? Do you think we have a nation? Do we? Look at the strategy of the government, the target. When you talk about little kids, we are talking about the future of this country. When you're talking about the 50 killed Gen Zs, we are talking about the future of our nation. When we talk about Ruto's, opinion and this suggestion to export young talent, expertise, and skill to other nations, what does it speak about the future of our nation? We have no future as a nation. And where I sit and stand, I think a man dies once. It's only a matter of when. So I am at that place of if I have to die for the sake of this country today. It doesn't matter. But I know it will be forgotten as well. But listen to me. Those of you who think we have a nation, we don't have one. And I want you to reimagine this. There are so few people who have this country in their hands. They do whatever they want to do with our lives. And in the future, we will have illiterate people, poor people, over-controlled people. The government and the political class can do whatever shit they want to do, and nobody is going to give a shit about it because no one is going to talk about it. Now, this brings me to that place of what is the consciousness? Because they talked about the Gen Z ndo walikuwa wabaya wakawashoot huko. And soon after this, listen to me, Kenyans, we will forget about the JKIA has been leased off to a foreign company until 2048. Your kids are going to pay for that in debt. We have seen that with SGR. We are going to see this in JKIA. What kind of government policy gives them the authority to make decisions on behalf of Kenyans beyond their regime? They only have at most 10 years to live. What happens until 2048? We'll be paying, and someone will be hovering around controlling us. Now, when it comes to the young kids that have been lost, there are so many fucking coincidences that cannot coincide, can never agree, can never make sense to any Kenyan that has lived here long enough. What I mean is this. All of us are waiting for the government pathologist to table his report, and we are going to believe that. What happened in Query, at Query? Anyone believed their story? What makes you feel like we are going to believe their story about the young people, the young generation, the future of this country being robbed us out of our hands? And some of you may think, it happened to Nyeri. Listen, you will not know until it happens at your doorstep, and no one will tell you a story because they will come for you and you will be forgotten as well. So my question is, why do we think we have a nation at all? We don't have a nation. And I'm saying, and simply putting it, we cannot leave the nation to a small fraction of individuals that are selfish, self-centered, egocentric individuals. So as we speak, come on, guys, we are not about talking about peace. There's no peace when people are dying. There's no peace when this life is lost and it cannot be accounted for. There's no peace when young guys and kids are dying. There is no peace. We are not talking about peace here. We're talking about the future of our nation. So how long? What do you want to see for your eyes to fucking open up? Those are my submissions. Asante sana. Asante sana, Jeffy. Thank you for your submission. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go to my next speaker, which will be Philip, then Wakili, I'll come to you. Before I go to my next speaker, this is the DCI's update on investigations into the fire incident at Hillside and Arusha Academy in Nyeri County. This was 46 minutes ago. They posted this on 2203 hours. Wacha ni rush to the place that I want you to hear. And it says, that is in paragraph 3, according to our preliminary investigations, there were 330 students enrolled as boarders in the institution, comprising 166 females and 164 males. Since the school had only opened for the third term on September 3rd, 2024, 8 boys had not reported back. Please, guys, note that 8 boys had not reported back, leaving 156 boys in the dormitory, in the boys' dormitory on that tragic night. Note that too, leaving 156 boys in the boys' dormitory on that tragic night. 156 boys. It has been verified that all 166 girls are safe with their parents. Similarly, 140 boys' safety with their parents has been verified. 2 of the 5 boys who were admitted succumbed to their injuries. 19 bodies have been recovered from the raised dormitory, bringing the total number of deaths to 21. I was not so good in maths nikiwa shule, but that tells me that kumekuwa na extra 5 boys wenye waliungua, because it means only boys were burnt, and it tells me there were 5 more boys wenye waliungua, more than who were in the dormitory. Because they have said, let me read this again. Since the school had opened for the third term on September 3rd, 2024, 8 boys had not reported back. 8 boys. Now wamesema the dormitory comprised 166 females and 164 males. 164 males. So if 164 males, if out of 164 males, 8 had not reported back, that leaves us with 156 boys in the dormitory. Since all girls are safe with their parents, inamaanisha ni boys pekee waliungua. If we have a total of 21 deaths, na 156 na 8 boys hawakuwa wamereport back, na 156 boys ndio walikuwa kwa dormitory. It only tells that kulikuwa na 5 extra boys wenye waliungua, wenye maybe si wanafunzi wa hiyo shule, because who are they? Is that math adding up? Let me share that thing here. Maybe mimi ndio sijui hesabu. I've told you guys I was not so good in maths. Chanike hapo kwa Jumbotron hapo, you can check. Wale wazuri walikuwa wazuri hesabu, please help us. Help us. We need to know. I need to know that my math is not mathing ama ni nini. Because who are the extra 5 boys? Who are they? Sijui ni extra 5 ama ni sijui hata. Philip.
Okay, thank you. First of all, Ruto must go. Yo ni sheria. Second of all, manze, mimi nimejam because like wanatubeba tu fala. For example, like ati watu yo wanapotea, like wanapotea aje, like ona, imagine unalea mtoi kutoka kiwa infant, unang'ang'ana nenda shule, alafu unakuja tikwambia alipotea aje. First of all, hadi mimi kitu mimi naweza penda sana. Unaona mwenyewe shule na familia yake wekwe room moja, matron wekwe room moja, huyo gateman wekwe room moja, watu wa nyumba 10 wekwe room moja, alafu wamwagiwe petroli, watasema. Hiyo ni kushua, watasema. Juu yani unajua it's pain ya manzi. Ukiona mtu yeye bede, wala watu wako parents ya they understand manzi, they understand. Like kama mtu yeye akiwa mgonjwa unanga amani. Imagine unaambia mtu wako amepotea. How? Alafu ati we have a government. Kitu mimi najuanga na hii governor nimekuja kustudy. Kitu yote wako ndani, they will never investigate. They will just create stories. Ndio maana unaona hadi your math I add up because it's a lie. Every lie has a loophole. Mi walai nimejam mbaya sana, like nimejam. I wish the president now ma corrupt leaders wote, they are sold to see their bodies in desperation. Mi anyewe imefika ta place like Ruto ana mada watu sana. Mi sasa story ya Kware, sasa story ya Githurai, sasa story ya parliament. Kioko parliament niliona watu wakiuliwa na macho yangu, hiyo siwezi sahau forever and ever. Mi hadi naambia God, fanya vile ulifanyia Farao manze. Watu vile wanatua, God waue wote. Senge kwa di politician ameassassinatiwa na walai sikudanganyi. Msele wa assassinate sasa yange kwa amepatikana. Lakini jua watoto wamepotea. Alafu wanaona ati their family, maybe they don't have that so much voice ya kurizala, wabeba ufala. Unasikia watoto wengine wanapatikana Uganda, ati sawa nenda kutolewa makafara. Mimi sikudanganyi walai. Mimi najua kitu moja, God walai, leta watu safe. Chukua politicians, fanya exchange. Acha wastuke. If God can move mountains, kwani hizi move children? Manze, thanks, happy bondo. Nimejam juu hadi siwezi ongea mingi.
Asante sana. Binti, are you back?
Yes.
Binti.
Sorry, Kowino, I'm back. I'm just doing this math right now. It's not mathing, and I think maybe I don't know maths myself either, but I cannot believe this. But yes, I'm back.
Okay, thank you. Naona hapo ndio hesabu umetufikisha. Wakili ameenda wapi tena? But anyway, before wakili rudi, I'll give the microphone to Declan, then I'll come to you, Wesonga.
Asante sana host. Nasikika?
Kabisa.
Yes, loud and clear.
Asante. Thank you very much for putting this space together. Najua tunakonga hapa kila siku, but thank you for making sure that we recognize the topic that we're discussing today. It is very sensitive. It is very difficult to talk about. When I tried to talk to my ma about this issue, She doesn't want to talk about it because it is too painful. She's a very humble woman. Ananga maneno mingi. Vile mama kila mtu hapa ananga maneno. It is too painful for her to talk about. But talking about it is something we must do and something we must continue to do. The way that we handle this issue cannot be handled the way we've been handling every other issue in the past. This is a non-negotiable issue. We must realize what we want. Where are our children? Watoto wako wapi? I think we need a hashtag or something. In fact, nilikuwa nataka kusema tukuwe na hashtag watoto wako wapi. Na pia tukuwe na hashtag in English, where are our children? You know, somebody mentioned the other day, mid-space, when people are talking about Adani, ati, hiyo story ya watoto wa kupotea sio poa jo. Na watoto wangekuwa watoto wazungu, it would have been a different story. That is very true. Here in England, the other day was about a month ago, we had nationwide protests. 3 girls were shot, Caucasian ni mzungu. 3 white girls were shot, sijui 3, 5, and 7 or something like that. Very young kids. And they were murdered by somebody who I think was 17 or something like that. The country was thrown into chaos. And the country was thrown into chaos because people were so mad, they didn't even want to find out the facts of the case. They just knew these kids had died and somebody had killed them and somebody needs to pay. It was a problem. A black child's life has very little value in the international community. Very little. Listen to me carefully. Every day, hapa Ulaya, munaonyeshwa ads. Tuma 2 pounds Afrika, saidia mtoto apate chakula. Tuma hapa pesa, saidia mtoto apate maji. Kids are being shown on TV every day as suffering. So that is what the world knows. A black child suffers. That is what the world knows. Kama ujui, wacha nikwambie leo. Every day we are shown on the TV. Tangu nizaliwe kwa hii nchi, I've been seeing those ads since I was born. Kids that look like me on the television. Ati tuma pesa, mtoto ako njaa. Tuma 1 pound. Tuma 2 pounds. Ingekuwa mtoto mzungu angekuwa anaambiwa atume 70 pounds ama 100 pounds. Lakini juu ni mtoto mwafrika, when they make those advertisements, they say, hey, we can't ask people for too much money. Because people won't feel the pain or the value of giving out that money. Lakini ingekuwa a Caucasian child, ungeona vile pesa ingetuma very fast. Lynn amesema kitu ya maana hapa sana. We have gotten to the point where we need to make our peace with death. Na mtu mwingine amesema, kama siku a man only dies once. Nimekuwa nikisikia very keenly vile watu wanasema. This is a very difficult thing to talk about, but we must talk about it until those kids are found. This international community, they love smuggling children. I don't know what's wrong with them. Wamekuja na vitu zingine funny sana hazikuwa kwa community yetu. They've brought those things into our land. They've injected them into some of our people, and now there is a rot. It is rotten. I'm disgusted. Hii kitu haiwezi endelea hivi. Na hata mimi najua nasikianga watu wakisema ati we need solutions. Hapa we need to come to this space to talk about actionable points. Na nitaanza kwanza hapa na mimi na actionable points za kwanza. Kesho ukienda ku-occupy Endarasha, it cannot be occupy as usual. Haiwezi kuwa tu, Ruto must go, our children must be found. Hatutaki hizo runs. We are the new CID. Go and investigate. Usiende Endarasha kupiga tu kelele. Find those teachers. Find that watchman. Unajua kitu mzuri kwa village ni, Mtu atakwambia tu. Everybody knows where everybody works. Everybody knows where everybody goes. Everybody knows everybody's girlfriend. If you want to find out that information, you can find it out. You can find out who the watchman was that night. You can find out who the teacher on duty was. You can find out who the principal is. You can find out who owns that school. Lock them in a box and make them squeal. They must tell us where those children are. Liwe liwalo, we must know. Lazima tujue. Hii mambo ati we found 21 bodies. Hiyo ni jaba. That is a lie. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo, and I don't need to come to this space to tell people that that is a lie. That is something you already know. Kesho kama unaenda Endarasha, make sure you leave there with a result. Leave with information on what is happening there. Watoto lazima wapatikane. We need to change the narrative of maisha ya mtoto Mwafrika is only worth £1 or €1 or $1. It can no longer be like that. Watoto have been mining in Congo for years to put a battery in your iPhone. You don't know? Habari ndo hiyo. Hiyo Samsung unatumia. Anything with a battery. Nickel comes from Congo, and that is where they get it cheaply so they can sell you a phone. But the world has been made in a way where bila simu, bila computer, bila nini, you cannot be. Eh? It's so sickening. It goes so far. Anyway, funga seatbelt man. Wacha nisiongee hapa sana. Funga seatbelt. Juu sasa kama huko umefunga seatbelt before, safari ndefu. Funga seatbelt. Na make sure umefunga vizuri. Because people have been asking, when the movement started going, people were asking ati tunakutana nini next time for maandamano? What are we going to do? What's the next course of action? Nikawambia, trust your government. I think I've said that here before. Trust your government to do something stupid that will make you leave your house and make sure you're on the street or you're injecting or you're doing something to make sure they're held accountable. Bana, by the way, maisha ya mtoto Mwafrika haiwezi kuwa £1 anymore. Nitarudia hiyo point. Maisha ya mtoto Mwafrika is not worth £1 or $1. It is worth much more than that, and we will change that narrative. Nimemaliza.
Asante sana Declan, asante sana. Thank you very much. Thank you. Makofi sana, makofi. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 minutes past 23, 00 hours. Tunaendelea. We will be here. Tutakuwa hapa kwa muda mrefu na tutawasikiza. Tafadhali bonyeza hiyo kidude, itisha kipasa sauti, njoo hapa uzungumze nasi. Tunataka kujua watoto wetu wako wapi. Maana hiyo statistics imetoka, mimi hiyo hesabu kwangu haileti. Tafadhali mathematicians in the house, help us add that thing up. Nataka kujua mimi niende mwalimu wangu wa hesabu, mwalimu wa maths anirudishie fees ama ni nini? Because I have to know if my maths, mimi ndio sijui hesabu ama ni nini, but that math is not nothing. Tukiendelea, again, this just struck my mind. Na nikafikiria, after watu wamesikia story na Occupy Endarasha kesho asubuhi, they've finally released statistics. Is it a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences personally, but history ya Endarasha ikukuwa imekuwa highlighted sana. But since there were women who had enough courage leo wakafungwa space mchana na wakasema kesho wanaenda ku-occupy, and it has been echoed like almost everywhere. We are being finally told kuna statistics imetoka, and girl child wote wako reunited na their parents, boys wenye walikufa ni wengi kushinda wenye walikuwa kwa dormitory and all that. Is it a coincidence? Mbona hiyo statistic imetoka saa hii usiku? Binti, back to you.
Well, okay, thank you very much, Kawino. I don't even want to speak right now. I'll just pass straight up to Wesonga. Wesonga, hi.
Hi everyone, how are you?
We're not doing great. Please endelea.
It's I was saying it's a very, very sad past 1 week in Kenya, and I really feel bad as being part of the people who are witnessing this thing that is happening. Mimi ni Mkenya, but na feel ni kama ile uhuru wangu wa kuwa Mkenya unakandamizwa na serikali. Mimi ni Mkenya, lakini ninafili ni kama bado tuko katika zile enzi za wakoloni. Tunafeel ni kama bado we are still being colonized by our own people, our own blood. The only very people who swore we are going to protect you people. They're the same very people who are gunning us down. First and foremost, wale watoto, the first report yenye ilitoka about Endarasha ilikuwa wale watoto walitoka wakaenda, kuna wale watoto tu walitorokea msituni. Sasa tu wakaanza kusema watoto kama kuna any villager mwenye amepata mtoto mwenye ako kwa forest ama alimwokota kamweka mahali atuambie. Let's talk about facts. Huyu mtoto mwenye ako boarding school amememorize namba ya mzazi. Personally, saizi tuko na watoto around class 6, class 7, class 8, wanasema grade 7 and 8. Au watoto grade 6, 7 and 8. Out of they have memorized their parents' phone numbers. Kwani hawawezi hata tafuta mahali ama kule wametorokea kutoka hiyo time hadi hiyo time yenye wamepatikana ama yenye wamepatana na mtu wa kwanza. Mtoto aombe simu apige nyumbani ama aseme atipiga kwa shule yetu ama nirudishe kwa shule yetu nilipotea juu ya moto. Kitu ya kwanza, that was the first time this thing happened. And then unakuja kusema ati hawa watoto walikimbia msituni na bado wanaendelea kutafutwa. Walitafutwa, wanatafutwa, walipotelea wapi? Walitafutwa, wanapotelea wakienda wapi? The next thing was about the calculations za hawa watoto. The following day, a lot of politicians walikuja wakastorm that school. Since when umeona a fire tragedy yenye imeattract a lot of politicians wakakuja kuingilia, meaning they knew exactly what happened. Ukifuatilia news vizuri during the first days, there were some parents who are telling us that a kid aliwaambia hiyo moto ilianza saa 3 usiku, alipiga simu. According to the government sources or according to the people who are reporting on TV, the following day now after the fire tragedy, alikuwa anasema moto ilianza saa 5. Sasa between huyo mtu mwenye ana report mwenye anasema ati hiyo moto ilianza saa 5 na huyo mtoto mwenye alipiganga simu nyumbani, nani muongo? So we are here facing the tragedy that we cannot even ourselves handle it. But in one way or the other, we must stand up and speak. This is the same government yenye imepoteza watu watatu, wamekuwa wakitafutwa all along, na hadi yule Masengeli anakataa kwenda kwa koti just because they are rude, ama ameambiwa enda huko ukipate, enda huko job yako iishe, enda huko na uone kule utaenda next. We are not here for fun. This time round, the government must know that we are not here to smile with them. They have done enough blowjob on us. Now it's time for us to ejaculate in their mouths. Hakuna time yenye tutakuja hapa tena the next time tena kuanza kupingana juu hizi vitu. Because as parents, watu wanalia. Mimi, there is a time I was talking to my mother on phone the other time. Aliniuliza, what do you think about this school tragedy? Nikamwambia, mom, I'm very, very saddened. Nikamuuliza nyumbani watu wanasemaje? Watu wanasema ati serikali inatubeba ufala. Hao watoto wameenda wapi? And the government has to account for everything. Now that walijua ni watoto wenye wamekufa ama ni watoto wenye wameuawa, since when ukasikia bendera imeshushwa nusu mlingoti? Since when tukapewa holiday? These people are carrying us fools, hawa watu wanatubeba ufala, and they think that we don't know whatever is transpiring in this country. We know, but we just don't have the voices. Because anytime you raise your voice, unamutiwa. Anytime you raise your voice, you get muted. Anytime you feel like you want to speak, you get muted. It's high time now. Tukienda Endarasha kesho, kila mtu tutafute, hata kama ni nani, hata kama ni mwalimu mmoja, they know what happened. Si ati ni kila mtu mwenye hajui hii story, na si ati ni kila mtu mwenye ako involved, but those who are involved wanajulikana. Hata wale wezi wenye wanakuanga kwa community, kuna wale watu wenye wanajuanga huyu mtoto wana nini mwizi. So kuna wale walimu wenye wanajua what happened. Boarding master wa hiyo shule alikuwa wapi kianza kuungua. Every school must have a boarding master or boarding mistress. Walikuwa wapi wote? Did they even try to dial 911? They show us ndio hii namba, moto ilianza saa 5 ama saa 4 yenye wanasema tulijaribu kupiga 911 haikwenda through. Or they never responded. Ama hiyo 911 inakuanga tu ufala ama kutupima bangi. So either si ati either both wale walimu wa Endarasha, ule CEO wa hiyo shule na the government, those three people are playing us a very very dirty game, and they are playing with the lives of those kids. Manze, kama ingekuwa watu wazima ingeeleweka. Hawa watu wazima wamekuwa streets na wakapigana wakatusi Ruto. Hawa watoto wamefanya nini sasa? Hawa watoto wamekosea nani? They are very fucking innocent, very innocent. Sisi tumekuwa streets, tumetusi huyu jamaa, tumetweet, tumefanya nini, tumekuwa on X, tumepiga mdomo, tumefanya nini, haoko mimba imetoka hadi, lakini bado sisi tuko, bado tutabonga. Hata watu zime ni aje, bado tutabonga. Hata watuletee guns ni aje, bado tutabonga. Lakini for the time being, hii time yenye imebaki yote ni sisi tukae chini na turealize ni wapi kule tunaendelea, na tunakataa, hatuwezi endelea hivi. And not until the government will sit down and we have a face to face and a one to one talk, tutakuwa sawa. The guy atakuwa very very audacious, atatuma tena wale mapolisi wakuje wa disrupt watu kawaida, aseme the people, the goons now are coming in now to talk about blah blah blah, wa create their own story. Now takuja tutasahau wale watu wa Kware. Mtu anezaje hepa korokoroni kwa jela? Mtu anezaje hepa na wanasema ati yendo mwenye aliua wale watu wote? Kwani si ni mafala ni aje? Kwani Kenya tuko weak ni aje? Mimi nakaa chini nasikia like nakatsika sana na hii gava, because mse anezaje hepa wamesema like ndo mwenye ameua wale watu wote na wamewatuma. Mbona wamekuja hadi saizi wana relocate wale watu wenye wanaishi pale kando ya hiyo Kware? Wanawaambia ati you have to shift within 2 months. Hiyo notice imetoka. Kama hujaona ulizia mtu yote mwenye nakaa karibu na pale. Mbona walisimamisha zile nini za kwenda kuexhume zile bodies zingine zenye zilibaki pale? There is something that we don't know that is happening. It's either we know and we are assuming, or the people who know are assuming, or the people who know they don't want to talk because they know they are going to be silenced, or we don't know, we are in the darkness, or either we all know what is happening and we don't have just the voice to say. Thank you.
Piuroso jambo. Piuroso.
Let me try Piroso. I don't think they're here. Piroso, can you hear either of us?
Okay. Piuroso ni kama amelala binti.
Yes. Anawasikia kwa on.
Unamsikia Keoti?
Oh, his mic is on.
Ana struggle ku open mic ndio hiyo.
Okay, Piuroso, go ahead.
Yes, how are you? Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Go ahead. Just
Proceed.
Go ahead. We are very offended. We cannot even respond. Tunakusikia tu.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for what is happening in this country. Really, it's so sad. We have been complaining. We have been saying that the kind of leaders that we have in this country are just not humans. We have been talking of somebody giving him names like Sakayo and such like names, but people have never asked themselves why we give such names. I think if I was maybe just studying somewhere outside and then looking at Kenya from outside and looking at it very carefully, I think I will get irritated so much. Because really, when children are burnt inside a building, and we are told that others have disappeared, you just ask yourself, what is wrong? How can you tell us that a human being can just disappear, and you can't even find this human being? You can't even know, you can't even tell us where these people are. People are used to, deaths to an extent that you hear of 70 children, and you just imagine that those are just numbers. Those are not numbers, those are human beings. And for that matter, those are children. What has happened in this world? That it has reached a point that life is not sacred anymore. We don't find it, sad that even one person has died or has been killed. I think there is something really very serious in this country. So many young people were shot at. There were orders to shoot to kill. And so many young people were killed for just coming out of their houses to demonstrate against bad governance. And then they are killed, shot at and killed. People were not even worried. People were not annoyed. You see, such a kind of deaths. We never even complained. Many others got lost. We don't even know where they are. They were abducted and they cannot be found. And it's like we just see it as normal. What is happening? This country, if you need any other signs to know that this country is being led by a demon, then I wonder which other sign you want to see. Because we cannot be talking about deaths every day. Now, there are accidents which are, we don't even understand. Every day, accidents are being reported. So many people die on the roads. There was a time that a president would wake up and one day and, call it a national disaster when so many people die on the roads, and even, calls it an emergency, a national emergency. But this man who is in power today, he doesn't care. So many Kenyans are dying and he doesn't even say anything. Somebody just comes, he has not been in the country, he jets into the country. so many young children have died mysteriously over mysterious fires. He can't even visit the place. I have not had him go to visit that place where children were allegedly burnt alive and others disappeared. He has not even stood to issue a statement. You know, I mean, he's not feeling it. What kind of a person is this? And even those people who voted for this demon, I think you should be fasting, because you really put a demon in power. Some of us, we never voted for this person because, I mean, we had predicted that this is going to be a demon, and it is. I mean, we should be fasting and praying, because this person is not a human being. What is happening? So many people are dying in this country ever since this person came to power. There are so many bad things that are happening. We just have assumed and ignored when so many Kenyans were found, buried in a place they call Shakahola. We didn't even ask ourselves so many questions. Why? Why did it happen? Yet there was a government. Why? Why are so many people disappearing in this country? Why there are so many deaths, unexplained deaths in this country ever since this government came into power? What's happening in this country? Why is this person not really minding about the welfare of Kenyans? What we hear every day is just bad stories every day. Somebody wants to sell an asset, a Kenyan asset that has been there. He found it there. The pride of Kenya. He doesn't care. He just sells it. I mean, what is wrong with this man? Does he have the heart of a human being? I don't think so. He's not moved by the things which are happening in this country. I mean, are we going to just sit there and just watch that our children are going just to disappear? And we are told, oh, it's just life, life should continue. I mean, kwani hao watoto wenye walikufa ni watoto wa nani? We know what is happening around the world. These globalists who are controlling the world, they are thirsty for children. Human trafficking is happening around the world, where young children are abducted and get lost. We hear of human sacrifices and so many such things. Why do we allow this country to be used for such bad things? I mean, Kenyans need to wake up, because things are not right. And I think it's high time that we need to speak loudly and loudly and loudly. Things have never been going on right from the time somebody stood somewhere and announced that, even after listening to people presentations and many other things, and against what was going on, and somebody just stood up and say, "Oh, that was hot air." irrespective of all the evidences that were presented. Somebody just stands there and tells us that was all hot air. That is where things started going wrong. I think as a country, we need to wake up and say enough is enough, because we can't allow demons to run this country. Because it's like, we are being led by Satan herself. And it's time that if we ever had Christians or people who believe in God, needs to stand up and pray, because it is really bad. Things are not right in this country. This country is being sold physically and even spiritually. We have been sold to the devil. We cannot allow that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pew Russell. Let me tell you guys, we do not have a country here. We literally do not have a country. There's so much hurt, and Sijui, what's wrong with these people? Maybe they think that we're so desensitized to death that they think that even kids we're going to let go. There was Kwara, actually there was the protest. I mean, just through our history, there's been so many things, but of late, there was the protests, there was Kwara, there was the fires that are happening. There's just so much, and if we let this go, guys, if we let this, like the kids' situation currently going on, go, it's like we're telling the government that they can do whatever they want, and we'll just sit back and relax and just watch them go by. Alejandro, hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, evening, morning, everyone. Just to quickly say, to add what Blue Rocha said, he asked why did I read about Shakahola. He said, why did Shakahola happen? And there's a government. Well, it happened because there is that government that allowed it to happen. This is the thing. It's not like these people are enemies. They're friends. That Shakahola guy was protected. This is why this went on for so long. So let's put the fear aside. Let's speak what people are afraid of speaking of. I can see a lot of people on different spaces, so I don't want to repeat what I said earlier and what I said yesterday. But before I start, I'll say thank you, KOT, Binti, Kowino, everyone else, Wanyama, as they call you, everyone who's on these spaces, who's not sleeping, who wants to learn and teach at the same time. So I appreciate that. So if you're ready, I've got something that I really need to put out there, because the more we hide this, the more we don't talk about it, the worse it gets. Okay, I will specifically get into blood and health. I'll tell you why. The daughter of this chap that we keep speaking of, I hope you all realize that she is a blood ambassador of this country. Okay, now hold on to that. Go back a few years ago, before this gentleman was even the vice president. It wasn't a rumor, but he's sickly. It's well known that he's not doing well. Now, this is what he did. He made a pact with those people. There's this technology called a med bed. You can check it out. It's called a med bed. He needed a med bed. He was on his way out. Look for it. You will find it. He was on his way out, and he would always go out for blood transfusions. He became the vice president. Less movement. Okay, now he's become the president. He can only go out there for official visits. Everything is recorded. All his movements are documented. So he cannot do the transfusions that he used to have before. So here comes in the daughter, lad ambassador. The promise that he made to extend his life is what's happening right now. Just join the dots and you'll realize you promise bloodletting, sacrifice for extension of life. When the piper comes to pick up his dues, you have to pay. It's more spiritual than it is physical. He made a pact with the devil. He's turned out to be the devil himself. And what happened now is he roped in everyone that was trying to oppose him. Who would have thought that the people in opposition would join him? Who did? Who thought that? Okay, this is how they operate, and I'll let this out. And you guys do your research. You'll find things out as you go along. They're given money, the lower people, the lower politicians are given money to go and party, celebrate, give it to your constituents and all that. And at the same time, they are given women to compromise them. Some of your favorite politicians are given small boys. And this is what happens. They get recorded doing this. Everything is on tape. This is how they get compromised. This is where you wonder why your politicians are passing laws that before they got into power, they would never in a million years pass them through. That's one other thing you need to look at. The other thing is this: the misses. I mean, fear has gone right now. Why was the missus sleeping around? Ask yourself those questions. She couldn't sleep around to sleep with him because of what he has. She got frustrated, but she had to remain as a good wife. I need to throw a super tangent right here, regarding the missus. Someone called her Jezebel. Go with that. That's a fitting name. She was advocating for adaptation of some trees or forest in Kakamega. Something happened in Kakamega in January. There was a standoff between her, with the protection of her husband, and the Israelis, because two local people found a lot of treasure. And they want this same people in power wanted to get rid of them. The Israeli company are the ones who are going to get that treasure out. Look for the old map that contains all the buried treasure in Kenya. I heard that in, is it Meru or Embu or one of them places, there's a sudden rise in cancer. Why? The water's been poisoned. Why? What's there? Things were buried there. These guys have gone all out. They want to destroy the population. They want to poison you. They want to kill you. It's all about how much blood they can let. Because they did a deal with the devil. The devil wants his blood and his promise, and they cannot stop. Let's move over to the children now. The children will keep disappearing. That's a sad fact. So sad. They will keep disappearing. Why? They're pure. The younger they are, the purer the blood, easy to scare, the more they get in terms of the product of the scared children, the blood. These people, this is what they do. They're given a taste of what it feels. I'll call it the young, the immortal blood. They get a taste of that. They get instantly addicted to it, and they want more. And the only way they can get more of it is if they do what the boss says. But they forget one thing. The boss is not the boss. The boss is the Gates people, Carl Schwab. the Kissingers, all them people. Meg Whitman has when this dude went to China, and he intentionally did not put the flag back the right way. There was more trouble coming our way, because what he was trying to do was, you see, he's a liar, and he's lying to the wrong people. He's lying to his master. The flag was upside down when he was sitting right next to the Chinese president. Check the symbolism, the meaning of when the flag is actually not the right way up. What he was trying to tell him was, yes, I'm doing a deal, but I'm asking for help. I don't know what to do. But the West, I'm never going to go east. He signed up with the West, and now he's going east. We have a big problem. And what everyone has been saying, this dude needs to go. It's not just him who needs to go. They all need to go. What it is, they've got an iron fist, and they're wrapping it with velvet, and they're pounding us, they're hitting us hard. They are giving you guys candy in one hand, and they're raping you from the other side. And they're the same people who are coming there to comfort you. The school burnt down. Suddenly, it's like it was in their WhatsApp group. They all turned up. For what? To donate corn and seeds and cereal? Why? It's a mockery of the lost lives. If you're not angry enough, just know that this is not a movie. It's not a movie. Get angry, because right now, when you lose everything, you have nothing more to lose. You lose it. We are at the last point of losing it. We have to lose it. We have to go mental. They hit us, we hit them back. The guys used to say, let's go and pay a visit to so-and-so. Let's go pay a visit to the MPs and stuff like that. Do so. Why did you stop? Yes, there was what they sprayed in the water, that yellow stuff, Agent Orange. And a lot of the water also had fluoride as a mist. Check what it does to your body and your aggression, takes it all down. They've ramped up the 5G so hard that when you look at your cell levels up there, it doesn't say 4G anymore. Sometimes we go back down to E, because the frequencies are colliding. Right now, headaches, nausea, sleepless nights, palpitations, moodiness. You can't concentrate. You can't remember. You've got goldfish memory, and you're wondering, what's all this stress about? Why are people getting all these anxiety attacks? Because they know this. They ramp it up. You cannot operate as a normal human being. You get fearful. Fear, like I said earlier, is a direct opposite of love. Where there's fear, there is no God. Where there's no God, it's full of what these guys are doing. It's the demonic, the devilish. They have all these rituals. Look at the rings nowadays. Look at what they have in their pockets. The little vials they have in the pockets. Some of them are saying, oh yeah, when they're having their shisha, because I know a lot of them, when they're having their shisha, put this liquid. What is it that they're putting in there? Why do they look like they've got dead eyes, soulless? You look at an individual and they look dead. They have no emotion. The laughter is all fake. Why? Guys, forget dealing with human beings. These guys are just, they're beings trying to be human. They're not human beings anymore. They're soulless. They're empty. They've been taken over. I would just implore you guys, please, when you have your time, when there's zero distraction, check out what I'm saying. check out what I'm saying. Why is this guy 1 week, he's lost weight, his neck looks like a straw. The following week, his back like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why? The only thing that can do that is plasma. Why the renovation of what do you call it, that state house? Why? Why are they bringing some equipment that people don't understand? Why are they coming in bits? It's more than what we think it is. When the fire started, the first fire, I put it on my I don't know if you call this timeline. I said there'll be another one the same weekend. Way before that, I said there'll be an influx of kids disappearing. Why are boys more valuable than girls? Why? Because they believe this is a sick thing about it. And when they're having their little WhatsApp groups and their little tea parties and all that, what they think is this: when they abuse a boy, especially a boy, they believe that they've opened another channel to live life as they want it for as long as they want it. And they believe that they're protected. This is what they think. Majority of them were tricked into it. But some of them went in there thinking that they knew, they thought that they were doing the right thing for them. The last thing I'll say is, why did the Speaker of the House have to go to Rome to meet the Pope, Mr. Red Shoe Club? And this is it. Kenya has Red Shoe Club people. And the Red Shoe Club people, the shoes that they wear are made out of human skin that they choose. They have their own cobblers, they have their own shoemakers, and this is what they do. The little amulets that they put on is not from the shops that you and I go to. No. It's from a human being. So their loyalty is not to this God that we call God. No. Their loyalty is to what they call their God, pagan God. These guys are demons. They're demons incarnate. And soon and very soon, there will be a frazzle dip / Pizzagate controversy here in Kenya because we let the devil in herself. Meg Whitman came here to sign the contract that this Ruto guy cannot get out of. And he's crying like a little baby when he goes to China. Put the flag upside down, not correct it, because he's trying to get into Russia. And Russia want nothing to do with it. So guys, if you don't pray, do pray. It's not a matter of how long you pray and how loud you are when you pray. Nah. Because as it is, a day is to 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is to a day. What you can do is a 10-second prayer is your talk between you and God. Your dreams is him telling you what he thinks. So don't put prayer aside. Don't be fearful, but get angry, get upset, get affected, because they don't care about us. Do your reconnection with God. That's the only wireless system that works. We don't need a code for that. You don't need credit to talk to God. Talk to God. Pray. Ask for guidance. Whoever you think your God is, do that. Make genuine friendships. Look after each other. The ladies that are going to the schools tomorrow, pray for them, because I told you guys there are agent provocateurs here who get information from these spaces and they report to those people for 20,000 shillings. So to them, it's all about money. But us, we're all about pray and ask for protection from God. I was going to say something. If you would like us to have a space about the origins of adrenochrome, what this sacrifice, it's all about here in Africa, why Kenya is a new DRC and a new Haiti in terms of child sacrifice and adrenochrome, organ harvesting. I have a whole portfolio of that, and it's not from the internet. No, sadly, it's from first-hand accounts, which is not pleasant to say. So, yeah, I'm open. You can ask me any question directly or wherever. But thank you guys for having this space. Sorry for ranting, but thank you for listening.
Thank you, Alejandro. Tunakubali kurant. We know watu wamekasirika, and we have to allow people to talk. So guys, please pia wenye kwa speaker panel, we'll get to you. Just have some patience. When you may request microphone, we are gonna sacrifice this time before you guys come. So don't worry. Tribeless, how are you, my brother?
Hi, Corina. How are you, mate?
I'm not okay, and I don't think I'll be okay anytime soon.
I'm happy you're not okay, because if you're waiting to be okay, then you should instead tighten your belts, because things are getting hotter. And anyway, I'll just speak on a few things, and then I will yield the mic. Number one, I think we have spoken, a lot has been said here, and I want to echo a few things. Number one, William Ruto, our president, is the worst president that Kenya has ever had. And we live in unprecedented times, because I think is the biggest scam to have scammed the people of Kenya, to have scammed the voters in 2022, that he would solve the problems. I think he found a very desperate lot who believed in him, who were coming from another erratic president, but he has made it. He has definitely promised heavens, but he has delivered nothing. He will deliver nothing. Not even hell. This is not even hell. I don't believe hell looks like this. If this is how hell looks like, then I don't know, because this is what he is doing. In every aspect of, if you look at a country, how a country is governed, how a country is supposed to run, there is absolutely nothing that the president is delivering on. What of most important of what I captured a lot in this week, I was very, 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 very annoyed at a member of parliament saying in church that quarry bodies, the families who are looking for their victims, the bodies, have been threatened. They have been threatened, and they have been forced to relocate from Nairobi to the villages. Just look at that. They have been threatened by the same organization, the same institution that they pay tax to help them trace their bodies, to help them find a closure, has threatened them and has told them, listen, you have to stop speaking to the media. You have to keep quiet. That is the DCI telling people who are looking for their loved ones. It is very, very, very deep. It's the most form of inhumane treatment I've ever come across. Look at how look at how the police behave with the court orders. An inspector general of police is being summoned by a high court. This is not even a magistrate court. This is not a resident magistrate. This is not a senior magistrate court. This is the High Court of Kenya, summoning him 6 record times. The man walks around, goes to Marsabit. The following day, even on that Sunday, he was in Nairobi at a concert or something. The following day, he flew all the way to Marsabit. But why is he being summoned? He is being summoned because our family is looking for his people. Our family cannot trace the family of Jamal Linton and his other activists, his other accomplices can't be found. There's a family crying somewhere. Guys, we have brothers, we have sisters, we have parents. A family is crying somewhere, looking for his people. For a record, almost 2 months, 3 months. The court is just saying, look, these people, we believe this is the government. If these people were abducted by people who are not police, I can assure you they would have been found by now. We all know we don't live in we live in Kenya, we know these things. But this is exactly police work. And the DCI is just being called. They're being told, look, come, Mr. IG, come and explain where these people are. Just an explanation. The Inspector General of Police is nowhere to be seen. He is ignoring a record 6 times. That is the level of impunity that we are in. Do you think if Ruto was serious, he wouldn't have called the IG and told him, listen, go to court. Go to court and explain. Just explanation too. Leaving that aside, I don't want to come to the issue of Russia because I just think we joke too much. In Kenya, I think we joke too much because the records given by the police, this one, I know a family. See, ile ati nimeambiwa for the first time, I have a first-hand family who is still looking for their loved one. And what did the government spokesperson come and say? We have accounted for all the children. And the government spokesperson calls himself Dr. Senator, Honorable Isaac Mwaura. For the first time, Senator, nani alimchagua? This is one person who has survived in politics. He has survived all his life. Hajai chaguliwa na mtu yote. He is Senator, Doctor, CBS. I mean, for a whole 4 titles, 4-star general, to come and to the media and lie in plain truth. I mean, he's lying to everybody. He's lying to the world. Well, we know these kids are still missing. These are some of the things why we went out on 25th June. Vitu kama easy. They were not, listen, it was not just the finance bill alone. These are some of the things. It was a whole lot of things boiling over and over again. How do you come and lie? And because why? Their children don't go to Russia. Their children don't go to primary schools. I went to a primary school with a shirt that was torn, a shirt that had no bottom. All was torn. I went to school with barefoot. That is the truth of the matter. But then their children don't go to those schools. They don't go to those primary schools. They don't go to those and Rush Academy. No. They go to where they have all the meals. So that is why they don't care. They don't absolutely care about it. And I want to advise everyone listening to me, please, 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 for the sake of our country, for this, we are the youths of today, for the sake of these parents, let us come out. Let us come out. Musiogope kushikwa. Mimi mwenyewe nimeshikwa na polisi. My fingerprints have been taken before. But I'm still here. I'm here. So it is not, listen, we have to ensure these people get complete justice. Look at how, I want to come to how they are handling the critical, because it's just being honest, man. These people, there is nothing Ruto is doing right. Absolutely nothing. Look at how their Adani takeover is happening. They are threatening that man, Amenya. What did Amenya do? Amenya just said, look, I have come across these documents. They are suspicious. He wanted us to know. He offered to blow the whistle. Now they are threatening his life. For heaven's sake, the president is auctioning the airport. Because if at all he had goodwill, fine, we want an international airport. I have been blessed to visit some of these international airports. I have been to Malaysia, thanks be to God, I thank God. I have been to Ahmad, I have been to Schiphol, Amsterdam, I have been to London Heathrow, I have been to Manchester Airport. For heaven's sake, I admire them. I want that to be at JKA in my motherland. But the president, if you are honest, if you are doing this in good faith, why do you go to an extent of having a proposal? Now, the Adani group is doing feasibility study, and you keep these documents quiet. Why are you hiding? I mean, come in if Kowino today wants to marry my sister, why are you hiding? If you're a good man, why toka nje. Come and say this what it is. Anything that is being hidden, anything that is fishy, must be hidden from the people. That's the truth of the matter. Did you have to wait for the airport staff to go on strike for you to release some documents? Now, that group called Adani has done feasibility study. That feasibility study alone, for us to, because I am pretty sure tunashinda Adani tunashinda. But do you know, we'll have to pay almost 250 million or something to them. Just because of that. Mr. President, for heaven's sake, we would have avoided that. Is the truth of, I know your operatives are here, watu wako wako hapa. Please, mpelekee rais, we would have avoided that. And now, Adani is coming with other laws. Sasa siji, Indians, unajua Indians are the biggest population almost in Kenya. They almost go up to 1 billion. They will employ and they will come and speak Kihindi hapo. They will turn Kenya into their own home. No, I don't want to. I have had enough of Indians. This is not hate speech, but what I'm saying is, this is just, let them just come and visit and do their business. That is right. Lakini kuchukua JKI, no. That one, me, I reject. Look at even Kenya, what is going on, right? Look at education. Tell me, look at education. Ni nini naendelea Kenya sambamba? Ni nini? Look at education. Look at even higher education. For heaven's sake, you have a budget of 163 billion. And then you allocate 21 billion to help to do with 200,000 university students. Those band 4 and band 5 were just ways William Ruto wanted. Because if you look, we know that majority of Kenyan university students are very poor. We expect them to be in band 1 and band 2 then, if that was the issue of banding was good. If it was being done in good faith, we expected them to be in band 1 and band 2. But what did he do? He pushed majority in band 4 and band 5 so that they can suffer, so that the resources are not used. This is the truth of the matter. This is the truth. Look at even capitation. They are cutting capitation. Unakata capitation so that you increase budget ya Ruto ya kutravel. For heaven's sake, nyinyi watu majamaa, let us be realistic people. It is our country, bana. Look at how Ruto how many trips he has made outside Kenya. Almost twice or 3 times what Uhuru did in 5 years. Majamaa, ni nini analeta Adani? Anaenda nje kukuleta Adani. It is just this ridiculous. This man is rudderless. He is the worst. In fact, this is the time. This is the time. If you ever read Kifo Kisimani, if you ever read An Enemy of the, if you are a fan of novels, if you ever read An Enemy of the People, William Ruto is exactly Peter Stockman. He is exactly Peter Stockman. He does not want things to be done in the right way, and he is always out to suppress you. Anaona Kowina anataka kuongea ukweli. I mean, ule DCI puppet yake. Unatutumiwa huyo. Look at abductions. He said that Uhuru was abducting people and killing people in Siaya River, in River Yala, right? But into his government, bodies are lying in Kware. So what is the difference between him and Uhuru? There's no difference. People, do you know, as we speak now, there are people who are abducted during Mandamano, your finance bill. Now, what do we haven't accounted for them? We haven't. Lest we forget, we haven't. But him now, alienda utafuta ule mzee wake wa Bondo, sasa wanakula vizuri, wamesahau. Look at even health. What is going on in health? Any good thing, tell me. These are, highlighting these things because mimi na wewe tumesoma, we know these are some of the things. If you want to succeed in a country, boresha agriculture, boresha manufacturing, boresha education, do health. These are some of the basic things that if you don't find them right, you're going to mess a country. Look at agriculture. Leo nilimwona akibeba indi moja green maize, anasema ati hii ni mbolea niliwapatia. Ati ati hii ni mahindi mbolea niliwapatia, hata sasa mkapanda hii moja amebeba hapo, ati mnaona venye mlipanda hii, alafu people are cheering him for hell. Fuck off. I felt like, my goodness me, I was losing. Some people are still cheering Ruto in this time. You still cheering Ruto.
Tribeless,
I'm
can you
finished.
hear?
I can hear you.
I really want us to just stick to finding where our kids are, if that's okay. I'll
That's fine.
up with that another day. Today we have another pressing issue.
That's fine. So that's just how bad the country is. And this issue of the kids, I can assure you, the government is out to cover it up. And the best way to handle it, in my own thinking, is let's come out tomorrow. And as you go there, nowadays, internet has really helped us. Let us find these families. Let us speak to them. Let us interview them. Let us collect as much evidence as possible, because we know very well the government will come there and say their own issues. So as we go there tomorrow, wewe na simu yako, let us speak to these people. Let us have evidence. At least we can count, because I know watakuja pale waseme wewe mlikuwa mnasema hii na hii na hii na hii uongo. So that ikifika jioni wakisema hii, tunasema huyu mama. Me, I know one family that is still looking for their baby. I know one. But let us have many, so that wakitoa hii, tunarusha hii. Wakirusha hii, tunarusha hii. Alafu nawaambia, this mother, this family, hawajapata watu wao. Where are their kids? I think I want to yield the mic for everyone else, but I'm sorry if I went overboard. It's just that everything is not happening right in Kenya, and it is freakingly annoying. It's absolutely disgusting, and I don't think any change. If we don't come out and fight for our country, then this is not going to change. And mimi sioni Ruto akifika 2027. Mimi, I don't know, but my prediction is never wrong. Sioni kabisa. But let's wait and see. But Sioni, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tribeless. Thank you very much for the sentiment.
KOT. Excuse me, guys.
Yes, Steve. Can I help you? Okay, Steve, I'll come to you afterwards. But guys, the time is 7 minutes past top of the hour.
Guys, can you hear me? Seemingly siwasikizi Binti and KOT. Don't know if you can hear me. Niko namsikiza Tribeless.
Yes, we can hear you, but don't worry, we'll give you a chance to speak afterwards. We have a queue, but you will definitely speak. So like I was saying, this is 7 minutes past top of the hour. It is midnight East African time.
Hello.
We are here to find where
Steve, hold on. Binti has said we'll give you the after the next speaker will come to you. You've been here dropping and coming back. I think you had a problem with the connection. So we'll come to you after the last speaker. Binti, go ahead.
So thank you very much, Karino. We are here to talk about the state that is currently in our nation. Where are our kids going? What's happening with them? Tomorrow we have a mission to occupy Russia, and I hope that everybody is on board with this, because our kids are our future. We cannot let anything happen to them, and we just sit back and relax. Kawino, after the next speaker that you'd already queued up, I'd like to actually prioritize ladies that come onto the mic. So I'll give it to, I don't know what you think about that, but Ras G, I'll go to you next. But after that, if I see a lady on the speaker, I will put them up onto the queue and just give them priority. So Ras G, please go ahead.
Thank you, Binti. Thank you for that. Thank you to our boy KOT, Wanyama, and others. Sijui kama mnanisikia. Just confirm so that nijue background yenye niko kama kuna sauti.
Yes, endelea.
Nasikia. Okay. Now, I want to take the shortest time possible. Kwa sababu like I said last week, and I think this week I wanted to do more of listening and more of action. And more of action, I think we tried today when you will talk here, though it's not part of the topic. But I want to join that with this debate. And this debate is so dear to me and to many other Kenyans. Actually, this happened to not so far away from home. Home is Kieni, and Russia is part of Kieni. For those who know Muiga is like 1 kilometer to Endarasha. And I want to talk specifically to the leadership. Let me start there because that is where the problem is. There are so many wrongs with this government. Tukianza kuziongea sahi, because William Ruto and company have made it a habit. Tumekuwa sisi tunaongea. We leave it at the talks. We become angry as we can. But at the end of the day, wamejua sisi it is a talk. They have just reduced these as talk shows, yeah? And I'm glad some people are headed to Endarasha tomorrow. It's good showing that support to the mothers and those. You can imagine those kids, the painful death they went through. Alafu unaambiwa 70 kids are missing, unashindwa, okay, if people are dying wanaweza kufa wanakuwa counted. Watoto walienda wapi? And if you can remember Binti, when this thing happened, that particular evening, I said, be very careful with this government because it is a good distractor. And it's not as a respect of life. It has proven that. William Ruto track record proves that he's not a respecter of life. William Ruto and company. It is not coincident. Just the other day we were planning to go to Kiambaa with our Kinamweru, planning about Kiambaa massacre and then this happens. And then that evening, nakumbuka nikisema this might be a distraction. And then all of a sudden, it starts with Endarasha, and then fires. And to make it worse, the 70 kids, nobody knows where they are. So let us take stocks with a lot of pain. Let us take stock. Kwa sababu hatujapumzika tangu wakati wa Shakahola. Tunatoka hii headline, tunaingia ingine. Tunatoka hapa, tunaingia ingine. What is happening? Have we reduced ourselves to some group? Some group that retreat somewhere at the end of the day to just complain. When we go to platform and said, your time imeisha, it is time to raise generals, female and male. Because William Ruto is not a respecter of the Constitution. William Ruto is not a respecter of life. William Ruto is not a respecter of anything. And before I forget my point, I want to address the leadership of Mount Kenya. This one is now coming to the doorstep of my people, the Mount Kenya people, with a bunch of people we call leaders that we elected with a lot of emotions. We put a lot of emotion into this government, abused our other leaders. Tukafanya vitu mingi. Our parents were so emotional. They were very emotional when they were voting the last elections. And this was their man. I'm not blaming you, but I'm telling you, there is a time, let us call it the truth. And na Binti, kama tutakuwa Kwale, na kama tutakubali kweli, then maybe we can kidogo tu. Binti, please, there was a distraction. You can still hear me?
Yes, yes.
Sorry for that.
100%.
I was, let me go. I'm on Mount Kenya leaders. As our children are disappearing, as little is being done to get these children. You've seen Mount Kenya's leaders are busy, very busy with Morima politics. You know what I mean? They are very busy. Some are very busy being bitter with the same administration they ushered in, wondering whether they're in government or they're out of government. Because all they see is their interests. Hakuna kitu ingine. And that's why you saw even the sitting legislator of that constituency, wakati alienda huko, the only thing they could come up with this administration after watoto wameungua huko ni kuwapelekea mchele na maharagwe. What are you going to tell parents who have lost their kids? Kuwapelekea mchele na maharagwe, jameni. So, Mimi, we've done enough, and I think if it is crying, if it is yawning, it's ranting, we have done enough to this administration. And I've always said, na nimesema, it is time to raise generals, people who can counter William Ruto government, not only with words, but with deeds. Deeds. I've been told I advocate for anarchy. Yes, it's only anarchy. It's not, it is taking the anarchy to William Ruto doorstep. It is taking all our anger to his doorstep. Because if this administration can think their children are so special than any other watoto watu wengine, then it is very wrong. Huyu president amerudi, he's in the country. He has not found even time to go and console with the parents. When he was China, because I followed very closely, the only big statement he was making there is how me and you, tukiwa hapa, how desperately we want those loans. Knowing very well that those loans are not coming to help even build those schools, better infrastructure, hakuna, no better healthcare. That even with the conspiracy of the sitting county government in Nyeri, the one that was unable to send a fire brigade to put off the fire, but it was so quick to prevent Morara from addressing a crowd. We have a trickled leadership deficit in this country, and we cannot only correct it with our own mouths. If we don't retreat back to action, if we don't go back and fight in the streets, because that is where William Ruto understands the language,